Welcome to episode 275 of Cocktails in the War Room. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room for episode 275, your weekly kind of live streaming show to talk about music, current events, craziness, life, whatever it is. We've been doing this since March 14th of 2020. And we did the first 80 shows in a row every night during the peak of the pandemic. And then we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly video show when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast back in June of 2020. We are now 275 episodes in, and tonight, for the first time, we are live streaming in 5 different places. So the show started streaming on Facebook, then to YouTube, then to Instagram, then to Twitch. And tonight is the first night that we are live streaming to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. So want to say what's up to Riley King on Instagram, Dina Smith on YouTube, Elsa on Facebook. So you guys got to let me know if you're following me on Twitter at Mistress Carrie or X, whatever we're supposed to call it. Let me know if the live stream is working because it should be. Tonight's the first night. I beta tested it. They say it's working. It's all good. Donna says, hey, sorry I missed you guys. Last week got a scratched eye. Oh, that is the worst. That is the worst. What's up, Kiki, joining us on Instagram? Bish is joining us on Facebook. Elsa, Jessica, and Carol. Joshua checking in on Facebook as well. Christine on Facebook. So let me know if Twitter is working because tonight's the first night. It said it's working. Where is Wednesday? Jessica wants to know. Where do you think she is? She's right here. For anybody that's new to Cocktails in the War Room, allow me to introduce you to my partner in crime, the co-host of the show, Wednesday the Goth Pug, which is where you can find her on Instagram. And, well, she's been joining us for pretty much every episode of the podcast. And she comes in here and does tricks for you for cookies until I run out of cookies. And then she leaves us unless somebody sends her something in the mail. So here she is. Bees are up 2-1, according to Bish. Thanks for the update in the second period. The Bees facing elimination tonight if they do not win at Game 5. Jason checking in on Facebook. Jessica says, hi, Wednesday, you cutie. Elsa says, Blueberry Cobbler. What's up, John Roberts, joining us on Facebook. Marcy's here. Yeah, so say hi, Wednesday. So if you're watching us on Instagram, don't forget you got to follow Wednesday on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. Maybe we'll get to the point where we can live stream on Wednesday's Instagram as well, but one thing at a time. Tracy says, happy unbirthday, Keith. Let's not get there yet, Tracy. Elsa says, hey, Walter, have you seen my pants? And let's see. Need the bees to pull their head out of their booty. Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I know. Rachel, what's up, Rachel? And Marcy joining it. Marcy saying my favorite pug. Right, Wednesday? Are you being a good girl for cookies? No. Get down. Down. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, back up. Can I have your paw? Thank you. Can I have your other paw? Nope, I want the other one. Thank you. Can I have a high five? Okay, sit down. Good girl. Good girl. All right, let's see. Still have your Mantown poster on my wall. For anybody that is on Instagram, I can only see your actual handle. It doesn't tell me what your name is. So C Sour 65 saying he's still got my Mantown poster on the wall. First of all, thank you for joining us. Second of all, thank you for keeping that poster on the wall. I bump into those posters every now and again. I see them on YouTube. I see them on different groups on Facebook with people with a bunch of old AAF stuff, and then that poster will pop up. Flat Black on tour with Godsmack. So they have been on tour with them. They're going to be touring with Godsmack all summer. The closest dates in New England are the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion, and the Main Savings Amphitheater in Bangor. But today, Godsmack announced a date at the end of October at the Mohegan Sun Arena. So we'll talk about that coming up on the show. What's up, Tim? Saying hello. Hey, Chris. Thank you for letting me know who you are on Instagram. I appreciate that. Denise says, hey, Carrie, Wednesday, and the War Room family. So if you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, if you've never joined us before, first of all, welcome. Second of all, we're 275 episodes in. And the War Room family, as everybody that's been here since the beginning has dubbed themselves, there's a lot of inside lingo. Sorry. Cheers, by the way, guys. Little Moscow Mule action. I think the pollen is starting to get to me a little bit because the throat is starting to get a little froggy. There's a lot of inside jokes with Cocktails in the War Room. So if you go to mistresscarrie.com and you open up the dictionary, there's a whole glossary there. You'll see a link for it right on the Cocktails in the War Room section. And it'll fill you in on kind of all of the inside jokes and all of the things that you might not get if you're new. So if you're new to Cocktails in the War Room, and this is the first time you're joining us, you got to make sure that you're letting us know in the comments where you're joining us from and that it's your first time so that the OG War Room family can welcome you properly. So old fashions. Nice, Chris. I love it. Well, you can tell what I'm drinking based on what I'm drinking it out of. So copper mug means Moscow Mule. So cheers to you guys. Bish says the Braves are up 7-0 on Chicago and the Bruins are up 2-1. He says, I am a very happy guy tonight. Chris says he's watching in Marlboro. That's fantastic on Instagram. Elsa's saying bag of dicks, which is one of the many inside jokes you're missing out on if you're new to Cocktails in the War Room. You can find everything, by the way, if you're new to the War Room at mistresscarrie.com. You can check out everything that I have going on. A lot of the stuff we're going to talk about in the show tonight is all up on the website. And every old episode of Cocktails in the War Room is also up at mistresscarrie.com. So there's a lot of stuff there. Tracy says, what's up, new peeps? Can somebody double check and see if we really are streaming on Twitter? If somebody watching the show follows me at Mistress Carrie on Twitter, can you guys let me know if I'm streaming, if there is some kind of indicator or something that it's working? Because tonight's the first night we're welcoming people on Twitter, and I just want to know if it's working, or X, or whatever. So I introduced you guys to Wednesday, if you're new, by the way. I have now run out of cookies, so it's T-minus however long until Wednesday bails on us for the rest of the show because I don't have any more cookies. Greg is watching on Instagram from Hanson, Mass. What's up, Greg? Eric says, sorry, working tonight with a heavy heart. As this morning she passed away from an OD. Eric, who are you talking about? I think I missed a message. Alicia Marie says, hello, friends. Jason wants to know how my mom is. For anybody that's new, my mom has been the subject of a lot of the episodes of Cocktails in the War Room because we found out during COVID that she was diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. So I spent most of the day with my mom on Sunday for Mother's Day. I hope you guys all had a fantastic Mother's Day. To the moms, the grandmoms, the favorite aunts, the stepmoms, bonus moms, and then to everybody who has a hard time on Mother's Day. You know, we've talked a lot about how some of these days can be difficult if your mom is gone. And so for me, my mom is still with us, but obviously it's not the same. Normally we would take my mom to one of her favorite places. My mom, you know, was not the fanciest of people. She loved to go to Five Guys. She loved Olive Garden. And so we would always take her to her favorite place, depending on what she wanted to go and have. We would always plant flowers with her in the yard on Mother's Day, which is something that she loved to do every year. And so obviously, now that she's sick, Mother's Day is different. And sorry, I got a hair on my face. It's itching me. But I spend most of the day with her on Sunday. She's doing okay. You know, there's no improvement. She's kind of steady right now. She's declining slowly, noticeably, but we had a good day. I went to the Red Sox game on Saturday night in Boston and then had some friends in from out of town. And so we went to the North End for dinner, stopped by Modern Pastry, and picked up some of my mom's favorite pastry. And so I had some really yummy stuff to bring her for Mother's Day. So that's kind of how I spent Mother's Day with my mom. So let's see. Rachel says it's streaming on Twitter and X. I don't know if you saw the comments. You know what? No. So here's what I'm learning, because we are live streaming on Twitter for the first time tonight for Cocktails in the War Room. So if you're watching, thanks for hanging out with us in the War Room on Twitter, but I cannot see your comments. I can see the comments from YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook. But since tonight is the first night we've actually gone live on Twitter, I was wondering if I was going to be able to see your comments, and I can't. So if you're watching on Twitter, I apologize, but I cannot see all of your comments. But feel free, obviously, to comment as much as you want. You can also watch on all of the other outlets and let me know. But I can't see the Twitter comments, which bums me out. I don't know if that's a setting. I'll look into it after the show tonight. But Joshua says, sending dicks is amateur. Send poop to those you hate. You can do it anonymously too. Well, Josh, people started sending me edible bags of dicks here in the War Room during the pandemic, which is how Eat a Bag of Dicks became a thing. And they were anonymous, and people thought it was really funny. I will tell you that those gummy dicks were delicious. So there you go. Louise says, I am on vacation in Florida, watching on the beach with a drink in my hand and my toes in the sand. Louise, I am jealous. Cheers to you. That sounds fantastic. What's up, Will? Joining us on Facebook. Bish says, Carrie, Mike's over Modern. I like them both. Here's the problem, Bish, is that by the time we got out of dinner, Mike's closed at 10. Modern was still open. I like both. They're both good. I went to Modern. Mike's was closed. It was delicious. So... let's see. Elsa wants to know how Mike is feeling. Are you talking about Mike Shue? Last time I talked to him, he was good, unless you guys know something I don't know. I didn't see him today, but hopefully with all of the new outlets, you'll reach 150 countries for the podcast. Jonathan, crossing my fingers that's going to happen. So if you're new to the War Room, one of the things that we do here on Cocktails in the War Room is we talk about the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And so I'll tell you who's going to be on this week's episode. We'll go over last week's episode, but there are a few events that are happening later this week that I want to fill you guys in on. So first of all, speaking of the podcast, the bonus episode of the podcast that I did with Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue has been getting a ton of press. And the comment about John 5 quitting Rob Zombie's band to join Motley Crue, that question, when I asked Nikki, I asked him, did you have to have a mafia style sit down to get John 5 out of Rob Zombie's band? And I didn't know that John and Nikki hadn't spoken to Rob, that Rob was really upset that John left. Like, I had no idea about that when I asked the question. I was just asking because John 5 had been playing with Rob Zombie for a really long time. I was not expecting the answer Nikki Sixx gave me, and I was not expecting it to get picked up in so many places like Blabbermouth, Loudwire, Ultimate Classic Rock, and a bunch of other outlets online that cover rock and classic rock stories. So to all of those outlets, thank you guys for paying attention to the Mistress Carrie podcast. And if you haven't listened to that bonus episode with Nikki Sixx, it came out a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the episodes you can find for the Mistress Carrie podcast anywhere. Nothing wrong with liking both, says Jonathan. Thank you. Eric says, bite me, Florida, vacationer. Nobody likes a gloater, says Eric. Yes, we do. Christine wants to know where in Florida you're hanging out on vacation. Voorhees says Mike Shue had today off because of stomach issues. I'm going to have to ask him about that because it was 82 degrees in Worcester today and Mike Shue had stomach issues. So I'm wondering what kind of stomach issues Mike Shue actually had. We'll have to find out, Mr. Shue. For anybody that is not aware, Mike Shue and I, yes, the same Mike Shue from WAAF, work together again on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester. Mike Shue is the morning show host. I am the afternoon show host. So when people say I miss you on the radio, I understand that you miss me on WAAF because WAAF doesn't exist anymore, but you can hear me on The Pike every weekday afternoon. A couple of things to go over. One, this Thursday, I'm going to be broadcasting live from 3 to 6 at Polar Park in the Sherwood Diner at the Woo Sox game. The Woo Sox are the minor league Red Sox team that's based out of Worcester, used to be out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The Paw Sox became the Woo Sox. Polar Park is the new park, and I'll be broadcasting live on Thursday, weather permitting. Some other events I want to let you know about: the annual Hair Fest at Indian Ranch coming up in July, and then Rock Fest, which is usually like one of the last parties of the year. That's at Indian Ranch as well. Tickets for both of those are on sale now. And Polar Park, I'll be at the Sherwood Diner inside the park. So if you're going to the Woo Sox game, come on over to the diner and say hello. Another event that I want to let you know about: tomorrow, I am going to be live from noon to 2 on the Pulse of New Hampshire for their 10th annual Make Veterans Count Radiothon. It's 12 hours of fundraising and stories about veterans reintegration, about veterans benefits, about the needs of the veteran community and the needs of their families as well. So they asked me to come up and co-host a couple of hours last year. They asked me to come back again this year. So Wednesday, shush. So that's happening tomorrow from noon to 2 in Concord, New Hampshire on the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'll be co-hosting 2 hours of the Make Veterans Count Radiothon. And if you are not aware, the same company that owns the Pulse of New Hampshire owns 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, where you can hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7. Wednesday. Come here. Come here. So that's all happening tomorrow. Chris, I think you might be right that Mike Shue was playing disc golf and eating subs. It's possible that he wasn't feeling good. I'm just saying today was 82 degrees. It's a little bit suspect. Steven says, I got burnt on the roof today. Yeah, if you have been living through winter, today was one of those days that it was like if you're not careful getting out in the sun, you're going to get that early spring sunburn. So don't be a rookie. Put your sunscreen on. Let's see. Hello to you on Instagram, Emperor Scythia. I can't see your real name. I can only see your handle, but thanks for watching on Instagram. Let's see. Voorhees says, well, what were you doing up there on the roof? Bish said Josh Dolan worked at the Pulse. Yep, and now he works with us at the Pike, which is interesting. So that's cool. Wednesday barking at the local poltergeist. Yeah, probably. Or the bunnies. Or, a leaf blowing across the yard. We just never really know. I think Mike had a 420 meeting this afternoon. Totally possible. William says, what's up, War Room family? Sorry I'm late. Working out here in New Mexico. What's up, William? Thank you for joining us. Jessica says, Kentucky is getting some storms with rain. Sorry to hear that, Jessica. If you're watching Cocktails in the War Room right now, and you are outside of New England, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I want to see who's watching from the furthest away. So we know Florida, we know Kansas, we know New Mexico. Who else is out there that's watching from far away? So The Bone, you can hear me every weekday afternoon. And then a couple other events that are happening this week that I want to let you know about. It's a really busy week for events. So Thursday night after my live broadcast, at Polar Park for the Woo Sox, I'm going to be heading to Florian Hall in Boston to be one of the guest judges for America's Funniest Firefighter, the competition and the New England Regionals. So they've been having these competitions, including a firefighter from Leominster right here. They've been having these competitions. These are the 6 regional finalists that have been paired up with professional comedians. And it's kind of like The Voice or American Idol, where they get coached along, and then they asked me to come out and be one of the guest judges. And it is a fundraiser to help fund research and treatments for firefighters that are dealing with occupational cancer. So this is happening. This is happening on Thursday night. I got confused. So Thursday, after my Woo Sox broadcast, I am headed into Boston to host a screening of Sully Erna's documentary, I Stand Alone, the Sully Erna Story. That is happening in Kendall Square at the Landmark Theater in Cambridge. So this is on Thursday. There are still tickets available. You can go online. I put the link up in the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Then Friday night, I'm going to be at Florian Hall for the America's Funniest Firefighter competition. So Sully Erna documentary on Thursday night, screening in Cambridge. Friday night, Funniest Firefighter competition at Florian Hall in Dorchester/Boston. What's up, Sean? Joining us on Instagram. Megan says she's watching in South Jersey, right next to Philly right now on Instagram. If you're watching on Twitter, I apologize. We can't see your comments here in the War Room. Elsa saying, Bruins, do your job. Jesse says, watching from Hubbardston, Mass. Keith says, oh my God, really? I am in Kenya. Keith, you are not in Kenya. Woo Sox won today. Michael Cole says 8-4. Fantastic. Pointing in the wrong direction. I can't find my rule book. Voorhees, look, everything is backwards. This is my right hand, and I'm looking at it opposite. This is my left hand. I'm looking at it opposite. It's like a weatherman with a green screen. All these years later, I'm still not used to it. Bish says Sully's documentary is also on Access TV as well. It's on a bunch of the streaming platforms, but the thing about the documentary screening in Cambridge on Thursday night is that A, you can see it on the big screen, and B, Sully's going to be there. And there's going to be a Q&A after the film that I am going to host for Sully. So that's part of the reason why I'm going to be there, because Sully's going to be there answering questions about the documentary. So Marcy says, anyone in a different country? That's what I'm looking to find out. Who's watching from outside the U.S.? Celtics and Bruins both doing great. Sean, Bruins, they need to win tonight. They're behind the 8 ball tonight. Celtics play tomorrow night. They're leading the series 3-1, which is fantastic. Bruins are now up 3-1 after 2 periods, which is great. No way. Cynthia is watching from London right now. That is awesome. Thanks for joining us on Instagram. That is fantastic. Let's see. Trina says, I'm out of this universe. Really? So Sully Erna documentary with Sully Thursday night in Cambridge, and then Friday night, the America's Funniest Firefighters New England Regional Competition. Both of these events, there are details on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Okay, if you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, every Tuesday night, we try to up our mixology game by digging out a drink recipe out of all of the bartender books that I have here in the War Room. This is episode 275. We started doing the drinks, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes in or something like that. So there's been a lot of drink recipes. This one is called the Coconilla Delight. It's an ounce of gold rum, 1 banana peeled, 1 ounce of coconut rum, 3 ounces of pineapple juice, 3 ounces of fresh orange juice, and 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream. because it was 82 degrees today. And I thought a banana-y, coconutty, rummy, ice creamy drink would be perfect. So you take all the ingredients and according to the recipe, blend the ingredients with crushed ice. Crushed ice, we as discussed at length, is goat. Hey, Wednesday. And then pour the drink into a highball glass and serve with a straw, it says. Not a lot of drinks require a straw. This one does. Obviously, we're always looking to garnish. So my idea to garnish this one was to cut a banana up into slices, freeze it after you dip it in chocolate so that you could garnish with chocolate-covered banana on the glass or do some chocolate shavings on top of it because I love chocolate and banana together. I always put chocolate chips in my banana bread. So I thought maybe doing some kind of frozen banana slice dipped in chocolate would be awesome. And then obviously you could do something like crumbs from a crushed up Nilla wafer because this is going to be an ice cream kind of thick drink. So I thought that might be really good too. So that one's called the Cocoa Nilla Delight. So again, that's gold rum, 1 peeled banana, coconut cream, pineapple juice, orange juice, vanilla ice cream. So it's kind of like creamsicle, kind of like, I don't know, I think that would be delicious. Kevin says, I'm on Jupiter, the planet. No coconut, says Keith. I love it. Frozen pineapple balls to garnish. Donna, yes. Jonathan says, I love coconuts. Yeah, I think that would be delicious. Jessica says, that sounds delicious and trouble in a glass. And if you don't like gold rum, some people don't like rum, I bet you could also make that with vodka or some kind of flavored vodka. I bet it would be delicious too. Sean says, I love how you do drinks on this. I'm trying to raise our mixology game, right? I don't know about you guys, but especially around the holidays, I get a lot of bottles of liquor as gifts, which I love. I love getting wine. I love getting liquor. And so here in the War Room, that's why we started doing the show 275 episodes ago, because it's where the bar is in the house. The War Room is named after the room in my house where all of my military memorabilia is, not only from my family's long history of service, but also all of the stuff that I brought back from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. But it's also where the bar is, which makes it super convenient. So after a while, you start collecting all of these bottles of liquor that, you know, may not be like your go-to, but you have them and you may not know what to do with them. So I try to give you guys ideas on some different drinks that you could do for the summer or fall, around the holidays, whatever. So I'm glad you guys like it. Frozen balls, giggity, says Rachel. Jessica says, chocolate covered strawberries. Look, you can chocolate cover almost anything and garnish a drink, and I am here for it. Bish says, she said liquor, but I hardly knew her. If you're new to the War Room, the show goes downhill really quick, and I apologize for the perverts in the comments. I am running a family show here. I would never make jokes like that. Eric says, just no drinks with fucking eggs. We have had this discussion in the past. I know a lot of bartenders that hate it when people order drinks with eggs. I don't understand why you would want a cocktail with eggs in it in any way, shape, or form. Whatever. To each their own, I guess. Let's see. Chartreuse is impossible to find these days. Yeah, there's always new stuff coming up too. Like there are so many different liquors coming out now. Yeah, big nope. Exactly, Megan. I get it. We're not hoes. We are classy hoes, says Eric. Exactly. Exactly. Baby, there are tons of pervs. I know, you guys are all pervs. It's why we get along so well. All right, let's recap last week's podcast episode. So episode 205 of the Mistress Carrie podcast came out last Wednesday, featuring my friend Ed Rowland from Collective Soul, who promised me that once they announced all of the plans to celebrate Collective Soul's 30th anniversary this year, that he would come on the show. He made good on his word. Their new double album comes out this Friday, which we'll talk about in the new release section, which I may have forgotten to update that. Shit. But Collective Soul's new double album is coming out. And then, it came out last Friday. Sorry, Slash is this week. But they also are going out on a ton of tours, including the Summer Camp with Trucks tour with Hootie and the Blowfish, Edwin McCain, and the Bare Naked Ladies. So Ed Roland promised me that he would come on the show. He made good on it. However, he had to push the interview back a week. And if you listen to last week's episode, it's the first thing he talked about, that the night before we were supposed to originally do the interview, his neighbor's house burned to the ground. That he woke up in the middle of the night. His wife told him that something smelled like it was burning. They ran outside and the firefighters were watering down the side of Ed Roland's house to keep the fire from catching Ed's house on fire. And he said that they were up all night with their neighbors who they love, that, they're really close with, watching the guy's entire life burn to the ground. And so he was just so emotionally devastated that he was like, thank you for pushing the interview off a week and for understanding that was a really hard time. It was great that he finally came on the show. Collective Soul is one of only 4 artists that played Woodstock 94 and Woodstock 99. So his story about 94 and 99 is hilarious, including that after they played Woodstock 94, they stopped at a truck stop and bumped into John Entwistle from The Who. And he was so nervous to go up and say hi to him, but he was like, I have to do it. So he went up and introduced himself to John Entwistle, and he was like, hold on, my wife loves your band, and went and got his wife off the bus. And then John Entwistle got on the bus and didn't come back out. And Ed Roland was like, I just wanted to talk to John Entwistle. And I ended up talking to his wife about how much she loved Collective Soul. So I thought that story was kind of funny. But they also recorded their new double album in Elvis's house in Palm Springs, which I did not. I knew that Elvis owned Graceland in Memphis, right? But Elvis, when he died, owned a home in Palm Springs, and it kind of has been sitting dormant. That Lisa Marie didn't really want to do anything. Priscilla didn't want to do anything with the house. And Collective Soul, Ed told me that when they go in and record albums, they like to rent a house and go in and set up. And so the band can kind of live together and record together. And the house will have a pool and cool patios and stuff that they can hang out and record. And so when they found out about Elvis's house in Palm Springs, they were like, we're going there to record this double album. And so that's where they recorded this new Collective Soul album. So if you haven't heard episode 205 yet of the Mistress Carrie podcast, if you're a Collective Soul fan, you definitely got to go and check it out. Episode 206 comes out tonight at midnight. And let's see. Eric wants to know, did you see that Bunny XO's dad died? Yes, I did. It was so sad. Sean says, I just heard Sum 41 is done. Yeah, they've been saying that was going to happen, that they were going to do this last album, that they were going to do this last tour, and then they were going to break the band up. So yeah, I did know that. Okay, episode 206 goes live at midnight tonight. Andy Bierzak from Black Veil Brides returns to the show. So last week, Black Veil Brides were at the House of Blues in Boston, headlining. And so I had a chance to catch up with them. I couldn't make the show, but I had a chance to catch up with them on Zoom. So we talked about the tour. We talked about the upcoming tour with Falling in Reverse. We spent a lot of time talking about his love of sports. Because the NFL draft had just happened, he actually hosts a Cincinnati Bengals show. Like, he really knows a lot about sports. And so we talked about the Bengals draft, how he was feeling about all of that. He talked about his wife, Lilith Czar, a little bit. He had just talked to her before we got on to record the interview. So we talked about all of that stuff. So Black Veil Brides also has their new Bleeders EP that's coming out. And they also are doing this big thing with the Red Cross, trying to encourage Black Veil Brides fans to donate blood. Blood donations always slow down with the American Red Cross in the summertime because regular people who donate on a schedule go on vacations and their schedules get disrupted. And so there's always a shortage in the summertime. And of course, motorcycle accidents, people traveling. It's one of those things where the American Red Cross is always begging people to donate blood. So Andy told me all about why it was that the band felt it was so important to partner with the Red Cross to encourage Black Veil Brides fans to donate blood. And also the Bleeders EP is going to have some cover songs on it. And so we talked about how they chose the cover songs as well. Lou says, Carrie, can you do a podcast with Slash to talk about his new album, Orgy of the Damned, and the Serpents Festival tour that he's doing this summer? So Lou, I have had Slash on the show in the past, and I have requested, because Slash is going to be up in the Northeast in August on that Serpents tour, to try and get him back on the show again. I just haven't heard anything yet. So let's see. Stephen wants to know what my Memorial Day plans are. So I have spoken about this in the last couple of weeks. My sister, who many of you have met over the last few years because she comes to a lot of events and sells merch for me at the Mistress Carrie booth. My sister is graduating with her master's from Harvard. She's graduating next week. She has been working part-time on her master's while she has been working full-time helping to treat and try to cure kids with cancer. And then there's me. So obviously when we have discussions around the family dinner table, our work stories are very different. So my sister has been working for years on her master's degree. And as you guys are very well aware, over the last 4 years of what's happened in my life, obviously, through COVID and my mom's illness, my sister, as someone that works in the healthcare field, had to navigate all of the stresses of dealing with COVID and at a children's hospital, and also navigating my mom's illness as well. And so the fact that she was able to really keep her wits about her and to be able to finish her degree and write her thesis, I'm super excited for her. So her graduation is at the end of next week. And so we have a lot of family and friends coming in from out of state to celebrate over Memorial Day weekend with my sister to celebrate her graduation. So those are my Memorial Day plans. Mr. C, my husband, is going to be up for that. So we're looking forward to having a really good holiday weekend. So I am taking a few days off the air, which is not something that I do very often, but I'll be off the air next Thursday, Friday, through the weekend and Memorial Day itself, so that I am going to be free and accessible to celebrate with my sister and to spend time with my loved ones and my friends and really be able to celebrate my sister's accomplishment because, as you guys are aware, my dad passed away last year. And obviously with my mom's illness, it's really important to me to celebrate my sister's accomplishment. There are very few people on either side of my family that have gotten their master's degree. And for my sister to work so hard through so much adversity to be able to stay focused and get it at Harvard, we really want to be able to celebrate that. So I am taking a bunch of days off next week to be able to do it. Jessica says, any news on Disturbed? So they were one of the headliners of Welcome to Rockville at the Daytona International Speedway over the weekend, and they were able to perform Don't Tell Me with Ann Wilson from Heart, who they brought out on stage. Rockville had a bunch of cameo appearances. Limp Bizkit did Behind Blue Eyes and brought out Jelly Roll. The Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl asked the crowd if he could do a guitar solo and started ripping into Eruption, only for the camera guys to turn the camera to show that it was actually Wolfgang Van Halen on the side of the stage playing his dad's famous guitar solo, and Dave Grohl just making it look like he was doing it, and they had planned to kind of play a practical joke on the crowd. So Welcome to Rockville had a bunch of cameo appearances with the headliners, including Disturbed, who brought out Ann Wilson for the first time to do the song live, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Yes, Voorhees says, what? Days off? Jessica says, you earned it. Betty says, good for you. That is awesome, says Debbie. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking some time off, really being able to enjoy all of the festivities. Harvard's graduation is like a day-long extravaganza that's filled with tradition and pomp and circumstance. My cousin Mike graduated from Harvard with his bachelor's degree, and each graduate is only allowed 2 people. They are going to live stream it online, but each graduate is only allowed 2 guests to attend the graduation. So I am really excited that my sister gave my husband and I the 2 tickets that she gets for graduation. So we're really excited to go and see it. So Jessica says the Foos aren't the same without Taylor Hawkins as their drummer. How could they be? You know, but I would rather have the Foo Fighters still a band with Josh Freese than the Foo Fighters not be a band without Taylor. So Jessica says your sister sounds really smart. She is. She's always been super, super smart. Like always got better test grades than I did, got into bigger colleges than I did. I think maybe I got more street smarts than her. Keith says there is a spammer in the room. That stuff's not allowed in here. Let's see. Roger says, I saw the video of Wolfgang playing Eruption and laughed my ass off. Yeah, it was really, really funny. Let's see. Celebrate with your sister, Marcy says. Have a blast. Donna says, your sister is wicked fucking smart. We're so proud of her too. I will definitely tell her that you guys said that. So thank you guys so much. So episode 206 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is Andy Bierzak from Black Veil Brides, and it goes live at midnight tonight. If you are new to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get weekly episodes every Wednesday, and Monday through Friday, you get what I call the situation report. The sit rep is about 5 minutes long. Sometimes it's a little longer. Sometimes it's a little less. But it gives you rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. So everything from streaming movies to new releases. It's a little bit of everything. And it goes live really early in the morning. So while you're getting ready in the morning, you're making the kids breakfast, you're in the shower, you're driving to get coffee, whatever it is that you're doing, you can get caught up on all of the big music, especially rock stories of the day, and then go about your day. So the sit rep Monday through Friday, just subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. And wherever you want to subscribe, you can find me everywhere. So the audio podcast is available on all of the big podcast outlets, Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart. You can get all of the episodes audio only on YouTube. And you can obviously get every episode of not only the podcast, but the video show, Cocktails in the War Room, all the sit reps, all the bonus episodes. They're all up at mistresscarrie.com. And all the podcast links are up there too. So just remember that the Mistress Carrie podcast is available anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And we are still Dun, dun, dun. Holding strong at 149 countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. So to everybody listening internationally, to everybody that has shared the podcast, the only way we're going to grow is by people finding out about the podcast. So if you love the Black Veil Brides, or you have a friend that you know loves the Black Veil Brides, share episode 206 with them and let them know that Andy Bierzak is my guest this week. Post it up on social media, tag me in it. I'll share your tweets, your Instagram stories, all of that kind of stuff. But the more we can get the word out about the podcast, the better. So there you go. All right. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. You're in really good company. Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys, Mike Inez from Alice in Chains, Cece DeVille from Poison, Ian Astbury from The Cult, David Byrne from The Talking Heads, Jack Bruce, and Bobby Darin. All born on your birthday. So if today's your birthday, happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. If you're new to the War Room, you don't get it, check the dictionary, you'll understand. But a pretty good rock and roll birthday today. So cheers to you guys if you're celebrating your birthday today. Jessica says 149 countries. Just picture 150 countries. What's up, Tommy? Joining us on Facebook. Kim also joining us on Facebook. Rachel says my niece is turning 9 today. Cheers to your niece, Rachel. Donna says happy birthday. CC, play that guitar and talk to me, says Bish. Exactly. Let's go Bruins. Yes. How you doing, Carrie, says Brendan. I'll be better if the Bruins win tonight. I'll tell you that. But I'm doing good. Everything is good. I shared mine yesterday with Bobby Valentine, says Jason. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go through some headlines. A bunch of shows got announced. Some new shows got added. So new today, Serj Tankian's memoir, Down with the System, came out today. Serj talking a lot about his musical upbringing, talking about his advocacy, and also talking about how he isn't just fulfilled being in System of a Down, and how at the end of 2017, they actually had a meeting at their manager's office, and he offered to leave the band and find a replacement for him because the rest of the band members, he was like, I know that this is your dream, and I don't want to take that dream away from you. They even auditioned a singer, but he didn't fit. And so we came this close to Serj Tankian not being the singer of System of a Down anymore. So he talks about that in his new memoir, Down with the System, that's out today. AC/DC's Power Trip Tour, the European tour with the Pretty Reckless, starts on Friday, which is huge because if this tour goes well, if Brian Johnson performs well, if they sound good, if the reviews are good, they sold 1 million tickets in 24 hours for this European tour. It's 24 dates with the Pretty Reckless. Their management is saying that is going to be the precursor to a worldwide tour over the next 2 to 3 years. So fingers crossed the AC/DC tour in Europe goes well. And Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins' 8-part docuseries Adventures in Carneyland premieres tonight on the CW, looking at his entire life, his wife and kids, his family life at home, obviously being a member of the Smashing Pumpkins. James Iha interviewed on this show. And then Billy Corgan's role as the CEO and owner of the National Wrestling Alliance. And that is all on the CW now. It's 8 episodes. And episode 1 goes live tonight on the CW. And I'm sure it'll be available on demand as well. Taking a look at a bunch of the shows in New England. Don't forget, if you are outside of New England and you hear me talking about all of these shows, this means that all of these artists are on the road and you should check your local listings if you're outside of New England to be able to go and see these bands. So Incubus celebrating the 23rd anniversary of their album Morning View, August 31st at the TD Garden in Boston. Weezer, who just celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Blue Album over the weekend, they are on their 30th anniversary tour with the Flaming Lips and Dinosaur Jr. Jelly Roll, September 26th. Congratulations to Jelly Roll, by the way. He finished his first 5K last week. He's lost 70 pounds. Absolute savage. Congratulations. 21 Pilots are going to be at the Garden in September, as is Jeff Lynne's ELO and the Black Keys. And of course, Dan Auerbach, we already talked about him celebrating his birthday today. Other shows, the Big Gig. Oh, there's a typo. The Big Gig already happened. Shit. Typo on the show. We drink a social when you guys catch me screwing up. The Silver Scream Con is happening September 13th through the 15th. That is Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills Horror and Gore and Metal Festival. And then Iron Maiden is going to be at the DCU Center in Worcester coming up on November 6th. And I believe that show is close to selling out. Big Night Live in Boston. Starset is there tonight. Coal Chamber just announced they are going to be at Big Night Live on September 17th, and those tickets are going on sale, I believe, this Friday. So nice to see the guys in Coal Chamber back out on the road. Here are all of the shows that are coming to the Xfinity Center, including Live and Stone Temple Pilots on the Jubilee Tour, Live celebrating the 30th anniversary of their album, Throwing Copper, Stone Temple Pilots celebrating the 30th anniversary of Purple, which is just amazing. It's amazing. Korn celebrating their 30th this year. They're going to be at the Xfinity Center in September. Weezer celebrating the 30th anniversary of their album. So it's just crazy, but so many shows coming to the Xfinity Center. Greta Van Fleet's going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena August 2nd. Godsmack just announced they are going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Tickets go on sale this Friday. They're going to be with Nothing More and Flat Black. They've got two shows, one in New Hampshire, one in Maine in July, but they're going to be coming back to New England later this fall. Jessica said, that's my dad's birthday. Tracy wants a Bruins update. 2-1 Bees. Let's see. Eric says, my dad's ringtone is Coal Chamber's song, Tyler's song. That's a badass dad. Let's see. 13 minutes left in the third, Bish says, and the Bruins are up 2-1, not 3-1 like we thought earlier. Leader Bank Pavilion, everybody from I Prevail to Slash's Serpents Tour, 311, Bush, and Falling in Reverse. I believe today is the last day for Live Nation's Concert Week and the $25 tickets. I think it stops tonight. So a lot of these shows are part of Concert Week. This Falling in Reverse tour just got announced. It's Falling in Reverse, Dance Gavin Dance, Black Veil Brides, and Tech Nine. That show is September 9th. So you may want to check out Live Nation because you're running out of time to get those $25 tickets for Concert Week. It started last week and it was supposed to go through May 14th, which obviously is today. The Rolling Stones and the Red Clay Strays are going to be at Gillette on May 30th. Metallica at Gillette on August 2nd and 4th. Apocalyptica just announced that they have a second Metallica covers album coming out this summer. They are releasing their cover of Metallica's One on Friday, and it is going to feature James Hetfield and Robert Trujillo playing with Apocalyptica covering Metallica on cellos, which is going to be insane. This just got announced. This goes on sale this Friday. Rise Against at Roadrunner in Boston coming up on October 24th. Tickets go on sale Friday, May 17th. And then the Fenway Concert Series, including Collective Soul with Hootie and the Blowfish, but the Foos, Blink, which was part of Concert Week, Def Leppard and Journey, Green Day, the Smashing Pumpkins. This show sold out. Have you guys seen the visuals of Pearl Jam's Dark Matter tour that started last weekend? They hired the visual guy that works with Nine Inch Nails, and they put this giant screen behind the stage. The visuals are unbelievable. Mike McCready, opening weekend last weekend, fell off the stage while playing the guitar solo for Porch. They played 25 songs, by the way. So if you got tickets to go to see Pearl Jam at Fenway, expect a long show with a lot of jams and solos and unbelievable visuals. You can go and look up the fan shot video online. The Pearl Jam show looks great. Maylene and the Sons of Disaster is going to be at the Palladium on Saturday night. That is Jason Todd, the original guitarist from Shinedown's band. Yes, the one that played on my version of Simple Man. This is his new band. NoFX, the finale tour is going to be August 31st and September 1st at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. And the New England Hardcore and Metal Festival is going to be at the Palladium on September 21st and September 22nd. Eric says, so they got Metallica to cover Metallica. Yes. Any news on Bad Wolves? Jessica wants to know. Some war of words going on between Doc Coyle from Bad Wolves and former lead singer Tommy Vext. Tommy has been, even though they negotiated the separation of the band and parted ways through lawyers and all of that stuff, Tommy Vext has once again upped his ante, releasing a line of merchandise that says stuff like Bring Tommy Back 2024. He made a political shirt that says Bloodbath 2024, which I don't know if he's talking about the election or if that's some reference to Bad Wolves. I'm really hoping it's not a reference to the election, because the rhetoric and the violence that I fear is going to come around this election cycle, we don't need to throw gas on that. So I saw that line of merch and those guys going back and forth at each other on social media. And it just, as a fan, it just bums me out. I hate to see Mick Mars and Motley Crue kind of dealing with lawyers and the separation and all of that stuff. It just, even David Gilmour is coming out with a new solo album this fall, and he's going out on a solo tour. He's going to play a couple shows at the Hollywood Bowl, and he announced a couple shows at Madison Square Garden. And he said that he is willing to revisit the 60s era of Pink Floyd, the Syd Barrett years, the 80s version of Pink Floyd, post Roger Waters, all of Gilmour's solo stuff, cover stuff, but that he doesn't want to revisit the 70s era of Pink Floyd. So I hate to see bands kind of dealing with stuff like that, but all of the Bad Wolves drama, it just bums me out. So, I understand that it was not an amicable separation, but it's kind of like hating your ex-wife or your ex-husband. After a while, they say it's like you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I think the fans that are willing to stay with Bad Wolves are staying with Bad Wolves. And I think the fans that are staying with Tommy Vext are staying with Tommy Vext. And I think ramping up the war between the two of them, I don't understand it. I don't know. Whatever. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Gary Clark Jr., Kings of Leon, and Sting. Just some of the shows that are coming to MGM. It's going to be a very busy. We're going to be exhausted by the end of the year. There's just so many concerts, including the House of Blues, Black Veil Brides. There's another typo. Shit. Sorry, guys. That was last week. Rival Sons and Clutch, September 17th. Hatebreed with Carcass, Harm's Way, and Crypta are going to be there on September 27th. And hold on, why isn't it changing? Come on, hit the button. There we go. Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin is on his solo tour. That's going to be at the Paradise Rock Club coming up on July 22nd. And just a reminder, all of these shows are up on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. A day to remember, the story so far, 4 years strong, reopening the stage at Suffolk Downs this summer. They have redone the stage, made it a brand new outdoor music venue in Boston. It's going to be huge. Jessica says Richard Patrick from Filter just had a birthday. He did. Let's see. Teresa says scary times. Yeah, it is. And I'm just so, we've talked about this so many times here in the War Room that we've all been through so much. I know I've been through a lot in the last 4 years that I am really seeking out positive things to put my energy into. I am seeking out friendships that are healthy. I'm seeking out relationships, new relationships with people, new friends, new business relationships. I don't want drama. I have gotten to the point where, as much as I love to argue and fight, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I'm getting to the point now where, rather than go back and forth about it, I would just rather not talk to you. And I know a lot of people are getting that way, especially when it comes to politics and the bickering. I think that the identity politics, there are people on both sides that have made their political viewpoints their entire identity. I think we know people that are like this on both sides of the aisle, where they are incapable of talking about anything besides politics. And it's become who they are as people, that they are not capable of going to a party without wearing a political shirt and have conversations about music or art or films or, kids and family or, anything like that. It's like they just want to argue about politics all the time. And I think, like bad wolves, right? I think most people have chosen a side, and the election's not until November. I think most people have feelings about how they feel. They have already chosen their number one voting issue. And I have also come to the point where it's like, if I disagree with you, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to ask you to move on and talk about something else with me that we agree on, like music or art or, food, wine, whatever. And if you can't do that, then I just excuse myself from the conversation because I just don't want to hear it. I don't care who you're going to vote for because you're not going to change my mind. And so I think, it's gotten weird, and it's only May, and I fear it's only going to get worse. Bish says, I'm a Republican, but that doesn't let having disagreements ruin friendships. Now, there is a caveat to that, right? That I am willing to ruin friendships over it if you are not willing to be respectful. I think if you are having a conversation with somebody and they have a gay kid or a gay member of their family, and you are someone that does not respect that, does not think that your loved one has the right to get married or adopt children or like whatever it is, I have ruined friendships over it because A, the person wouldn't let it go, and B, if the person I'm talking to does not believe that I am a full human and full American that has the same rights as they do, I can't have a conversation with you anymore. And I find it very hard to be friends with people that don't view me as their equal. It's not the 1950s. I'm not going to fight for equality in your mind. It's 2024. I pay my taxes. I'm educated. I'm a homeowner. I have a family. I vote. And there are people that really do believe that a woman's place is in the home, not working, being taken care of by a man. And I have had these conversations with people and have been like, you know what? I am all set with you. I don't need you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, you are just fucking so far off the reservation. So there are cases for me, and everybody gets to make that decision differently. But there are cases for me where I am willing to go, I just can't have you in my life. You're poison for me now. Tracy, I think you're right that people have become addicted to the rage of it. And look, there's plenty to be angry about. But to me, if you are not willing to be part of the solution, to help negotiate, to help be positive about it, if you're not willing to get your hands dirty and move forward, if you're just going to yell at everybody and get into Facebook fights with people, you're not going to change the world on a Facebook thread. It's not going to happen. You're not going to change the world retweeting propaganda on Twitter or whatever. It's just not going to happen. Marcy says, independent, still not sure who to vote for yet. Marcy, I'm independent as well. And the only advice I can give you is out of all of the political issues that are out there right now, I think every single voter has an issue that is more important to them than every other issue. And that is a very individual thing. For some people, it is the economy. I think for some people, it's guns. I think for some people, it is healthcare choices and abortion. For some people, it's immigration. It depends on what it is that is your number one voting issue. And I think whatever that number one voting issue is, that's going to steer how you vote. I know that's how it is for me. So, it's just one of those things that, I think you have to do your due diligence and not get your information from social media. I got into an argument with somebody recently about politics, and they tried to tell me that I was wrong in what I thought. And I'm not perfect, but the problem for them was I read the bill, like the actual bill that was filed that's getting voted on, like the actual verbiage of the bill. And when it comes to issues that are really important to me, I take that time. And it's annoying and it sucks because it's legalese and it's verbiage and it's bullshit and it's 1,000 pages. And so I do go to the government website and you can look up any bill that's filed, any bill that's getting voted on, and you can look up how people voted, what candidate voted for it, what candidate voted against it. And so I was having this conversation with somebody and they were like, that's not what it is. And I was like, but it is, because that's what the bill says. And they were like, well, no, that's not what they meant. And I was like, well, then why is the bill worded that way? Because this is what's being voted on. So when it's voted in, this is the law. So I don't care what a candidate says on Twitter or on Fox News or, MSNBC or whatever in an interview. It's what's the law is going to be. And so I think your number one voting issue, I think you need to go and see what the policies are and to actually take the time to read what they're voting on. Because just like when you agree to the terms and conditions on, iTunes, right? You just, blah, 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 I accept. I think that happens a lot with candidates. I think they don't even read half the time. And there's a lot of shit getting buried in these bills that after they get voted in are going to start popping up because it's like, no, that's the law now. Like that's, so just, Joshua says, I think it's fun pissing people off on Facebook threads. I guess if that's the only way you know how to have fun, to me, there's way better things that I would like to do than to just sit around and troll people on social media. It's easy to do, but I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I have way too many other fun things I would rather spend my time with. So I have no interest in that. I have no problem blocking people from my page. Have no problem blocking people on social media. If you want to try and pick a fight with me, I have no problem. Just, I don't want to see you. I don't want to deal with you. You're just not worth my time. So yeah, look at the terms and conditions on TikTok, Josh says. Exactly. It's everywhere. The terms and conditions on everything. But we also need to look at the terms and conditions on the laws that are getting voted in as well. Megan says, show Shady to have to keep informed. You have to keep informed as best as you can. Exactly. Which is why, especially around voting time, Ballot issues, I always make sure that I take the time to read that stuff, because once it's passed, and it's really hard to get that stuff removed. Eric says politics has too much politics in it. Yeah. And the thing is, I think most people are so exhausted by the rhetoric, and that's exactly what the fringes want. They want most people with common sense to just go, I don't even want to hear it anymore. And they'd stop getting involved, which is why I haven't stopped getting involved. Because pretty soon you're going to have 5% of the population deciding what the other 95% who are just too busy going to work, they're going to dictate the rest of those people, because it's just the fringes on the internet. So just be careful about where you guys are getting all of your info and the fights that you're getting into. And, really try to be as educated as you can and pay attention to where you're getting your news from. I did forget to change over the new releases this week. There are a lot of new releases. Aerosmith is reissuing Draw the Line on vinyl this week. Billie Eilish's new album is coming out this week. Cage the Elephant's new album is coming out this week. Collective Soul's new album is out this week. Slash is coming out with Orgy of the Damned this week. Jamie Jasta's new solo album is out this week. Kerry King from Slayer's new solo album is out this week. So there are a lot of new releases, but I did forget to change the new releases on the list. So my apologies for that, guys. Mail call. So this came from Latini Creative Solutions, actually. That came in the mail this week. We had a meeting this week about all of the new merch. Oh, and here comes Wednesday, because she thinks I'm opening something that she can have. Hi, Wednesday. Do you think this is something that you can have? You decided to join us back in the show. It's something kind of about you, though. So we had a meeting this week about some new artwork, some new bumper stickers for the summer. And I was gifted this, albeit a little late, I know, but it is a 2024 calendar from Latini Creative Solutions of dogs pooping in beautiful places. I need to show you this, because these are months that have gone by. It's January in the woods. This is February in the mountains. Freaking classic. March in a field. April in a field. May with the leaves. June overlooking the ocean. July at sunset in the mountains. Oh man, this is great. August in the prairie. September in the grass. October, oceanfront. November in an open field. And finally, December in front of a no dumping sign. Thank you, Latini Creative Solutions, for this amazing gift. This is freaking hilarious. What are you doing Wednesday? Are you having your juice? Or are you going to have one of the many cocktails you have over here? Huh? Are you being a good girl? Just chilling out? You going to hang out the rest of the night with me? Are we going to hang out together? You're such a good girl. Are you sleepy? Am I boring you? Okay, we're almost done, I promise. Okay, so that's mail call for anybody that's new to the War Room that's still with us. Here's the address if you need it. New merch in the store. The feedback has been amazing for the new black and gray 3/4 sleeve shirts. Tim Montana loves his. The pullover hoodies. the purple blankets, and also just in time for Father's Day coming up next month, new My Dad Says Mistress Carrie Rocks baby onesies. The Father's Day baby onesies are available. There is going to be a Father's Day sale coming up, like there was a Mother's Day sale. So be on the lookout for that now that Mother's Day is over. I hope all the moms that got new Mother's Day stuff, new ladies t-shirts and baby onesies and tank tops, I hope you guys are enjoying all of the stuff that you got from Mother's Day. And yes, there will be discount codes coming before Father's Day. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, we are going to put together a live stream. The last one we had was April 29th. We are going to put a live stream together before the end of May. I'm just trying to figure it out because of the holiday weekend. But we have a exclusive live stream every month. You can also submit interview questions for the podcast, get travel blog updates, early access to show news information, early event information and tickets, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. Right now, you've got access to Cage the Elephant tickets, but more tickets are on the way. And you also get new merchandise discount codes as well. As we come out with new merch, you'll get discount codes for those. And all of the places that you can find me on social media are all right here. And of course, you can download the Pike app to listen to me on the Pike, download the Bone app to listen to me on the Bone. And all of the links are at mistresscarrie.com. And one final plug, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you join the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group on Facebook. Just go to my page on Facebook, go to groups. This page is specifically dedicated to connecting veterans with other veterans, to connecting veterans with information about resources, about veteran-owned businesses and nonprofits, and connecting civilians to the veteran community to be able to ask questions. Somebody recently asked about an old tattered flag, and they wanted to know how they could dispose of it, and a bunch of veterans chimed in, telling them how to go about disposing of it. There have been veterans that have chimed in on the group looking for connections to resources. There are other veterans that have opened up businesses that are looking to try and let people know that they're a veteran-owned business. So that's what the Veterans Rock group on the Mistress Carrie Facebook page is for. So please join if you haven't, if you want to get involved with veteran stuff. This is only for veterans related topics. Don't go there to talk about music. Don't go there to talk about politics, concerts. Don't go there to, talk about radio stuff or bands or any of that. I'm going to pull all that stuff out of the group because I want this group to be specific for veterans information. And it seems to be, working really, really well. So I'm super excited about that. Kevin says 48.4 seconds left and it's still 2-1 Bruins. Jessica says, I hope the Bruins win. 20 seconds left, says Kevin. The Bees won, says Keith. Yes. Okay, so the Bruins are still down in the series 3-2, but at least they've got some life left. So that is some good news for us as we end the show. So don't forget, episode 206 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is out now, featuring Andy Bierzak from Black Veil Brides. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget about the events that are happening this week. Join me Thursday at the Woo Sox game, Thursday night at the screening of Sully Erna's documentary, I Stand Alone in Cambridge, and then on Friday night at Florian Hall for America's Funniest Firefighter, the New England regional finals. So Bees won. Fantastic way to end. Thanks to everybody watching on Twitter. Thanks to everybody on Twitch, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll be back next Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for episode 276 of Cocktails in the War Room. And if you joined late, you want to watch the beginning, you can always find the episodes on my official YouTube channel. And you could just go to the Cocktails in the War Room page at mistresscarrie.com. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Say good night, Wednesday. She says goodnight.